after you've been caught? And, you know, the begging, the crying, the take me back, all of that.
First of all, when you get caught, what you do is, rule number one, never get caught again.
Okay.
All right. And second of all, when I got caught with my girl, you know, the story I was telling you about on Mother's Day, I cried a little bit. But then her twin sister wanted me, so I moved on with the twin.
See, I'm just saying, I need these stories to be certified.
Hey, they certified. I got 2 starting lineups right now.
So you cried, and then you moved on.
I moved on with the twin. Didn't commit to her either.
Now you gotta get the definition of what crying is.
I didn't like, hey, baby, I'm sorry.
Just one of those isolated.
Yeah, one of them came. I was a little hurt. Because she was one of my starting 5. You know, I was a little hurt.
You're caught. Now, T's talking about what you do. When you get caught, you're caught. If you're caught, then you need to come on and make it right. You know, first of all, you always promise never to do it again. And you always, and then you always reassure her that you love her, and that she's
like you wrote a book on this.
Let me say this, because you guys are continuing to lie. Okay, here's what we got to do. Okay, once you get caught, first you got to do is you got to show some sensitivity to the woman that you really understand how she felt. Now, most of you might not know unless you've actually been cheated on before. So I had to go back to that place where I was cheated on before, because you got to show some sensitivity, because you have to realize that you are the perpetrator and not the victim.
That's the ultimate sensitivity.
My thing is, you got to really be sincere about it. You got to talk about some things that will prevent you from doing it again. You can't just go, hey, I'm sorry, and I'm crying.
You know what bothers me about this conversation? You know what bothers me about this conversation? Because you said those are lies. But you know what? The reality is, you get caught. But when I got caught, I loved my woman.
Right.
And when I went to her and apologized and told her I wasn't going to do it anymore, I meant it.
You weren't going to do what no more? Get caught?
I was not going to cheat.
Here's the kicker right here. Did you do it again? Yes or no? Be honest with us. Did you do it again?
I can answer for him.
Not with her.
Not with her.
Eduardo, let me hear Eduardo. I want to hear Eduardo.
There we go.
I mean,
when you've been caught, or the time you turned yourself
exactly. Well, I confess.
On the books.
Like I said, it's like politics. Lead the story and let the story lead you. You know, if you were upfront about it, if you give her information she did not previously know, you get a little bit of credit.
Was your confession out of guilt, or was your confession out of really being concerned about how she felt about what you did?
Both. Because the one time I cheated, I knew she loved me so much, and she was so broken up and shook up by that I couldn't do anything but try to do everything I could to be honest and make her happy.
So you only cheated one time, and the time that you cheated, you turned yourself in. That's what you want me to believe.
Yes, sir.
In this house that I've paid thousands for. That's what you're telling me? Come on, Eduardo.
Yes, sir.
Come on. And what did you say? You went and told her, so you told her, did you cry? Did you say, I'll never do it again?
Of course I cried. Of course I'll never do it. You say all that stuff, and you mean it. You got to mean it.
Do you actually think that works? It makes it better for her?
Well,
she's okay with that?
Well, if anything, in a backwards way,
do not be deceived.
You know what?
When you tell it all, it comes back to haunt you.
But let me tell you something.
Did you give her any kind of assurance, or did you give these women any kind of assurance of some kind of program you was going to get into, or let me finish, or something you was going to get, a preventative measure program, something where you won't get caught in that trap again?
Well, you know, I didn't have to do that, but I'm going to tell you something. He's talking about telling it all. You need to be careful about all.
Woo, it's true. I'm with you on that.
Because it comes back to haunt you. It may be 2 years later.
And I'll give you a perfect example how.
Tell them nothing.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you tell it all sometimes. What happens when you back with that woman and you walking around the house and you say, sweetheart, do you know where my keys is? And she say to you, you know who got them keys.
They're going to throw it back in your face.
That woman you was with got them keys.
Let me ask you this. What about all the... Man, we've heard some great excuses. I mean, everybody say they done cried and all of this stuff. What about, you know... How do you guys feel about the ultimatum? Women who throw out those ultimatums. Marry me or it's over.
Well, you know what I'm going to say. It's over. It's over. You know, you got to hat up, sister. See ya. Peace.
Yeah, so that don't work. You don't think that's a good...
No, it can work. And some guys will actually try to get the milk for free forever. And some guys are actually waiting for the girl to... what we gonna do?
Right.
Those are the balls I was looking for, ladies. Let's do it. Because sometimes people think they have weak women. I wouldn't want to marry a weak woman.
Just like a woman don't want to marry a weak man.
Exactly.
I actually got kind of lucky with that because I proposed to Kara a month before she was about to be like, so what's up? What's the deal?
Is that why you did it?
No, actually, I just did it because I ring and I knew I couldn't wait a month to propose to her. I was going to propose to her on her birthday, and we were going on this vacation, and I was going to do it then. I was like, nah, she's going to figure it out. So I jumped ahead of time.
How did you know? You said a month before. How did you know it was coming? How could you feel her breathing down your neck?
She said, next month if you don't marry me.
Exactly. She was like,
I'm going out with your brother.
She was like, I introduced you to my family. It was just that time. You know, our relationship has happened so naturally that everything's just fit into place.
How long you guys been? How long were you together?
We've been together for 4 years, but we even broke up for a few months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was one of those things where
sleep.
I was like, where is she? Where is she?
See
But
what I'm saying?
but we got back together, and I understood what I was lacking in commitment. You know what I mean? I think I just wasn't ready to commit. And then once I didn't have her, I was like, what are you doing? You need to commit yourself to this woman and be there for her and
step up.
Exactly.
Step up.
And it was like one of these things where she was like, oh, you're going out with this other girl because I play golf. And so instead of going to visit her, I'll be in Palm Springs. I was like, Palm Springs, what are you doing right now? I'm about to tee you off.
Let me ask you, how do you feel about ultimatum?
Well, Jamal brings out a great point. One of the things is when a woman does an ultimatum, it is to her advantage that she does it when she's certain that this relationship has stalled and that sex itself is in the way of proceeding. In terms of they're getting to know each other better. If she's decided that marriage is what she's interested in now, that's a good thing for her now, it's timely for her, and she's in a relationship where the young man is just pleased with having sex with her and refuses to move further, getting to know each other, working on the relationship, developing commitment, then an ultimatum is a good way that she should do to slow that relationship down, to get his attention, and to be able to determine whether or not he's actually the one or not.
That's a good way to lose her spouse. With the ultimatum, anytime a man, and again I say man, I'm saying real man, no real man is going to accept an ultimatum from his woman, whether he loves her or not. Because, see, later on down the road, 5 years from now, if you don't buy me that car, I'm leaving. If you don't get me this, I'm leaving. So there's always going to come that ultimatum in your relationship. You got to cut that off immediately. Once she brings the ultimatum, I'm not accepting it. Bye, see you, you got to go.
Let me ask you this, Arthur. Let me ask you a question. Sometimes women who, you said that live with men, have sex with them, and they allow them, do you think that is a reflection of the level of a woman's self-esteem, whether she might not feel like I'm worthy, so I'll just take what I can get?
Oftentimes that can be the situation, and that's why I kind of warn against couples living together first before getting married. While sometimes that's a good tool to use, perhaps, to be able to get to know each other better and so on and so forth, you have to realize that you're taking on a lot of the same responsibilities. There's a lot of expectations of you that's very similar to marriage. And when you get in a relationship with a young man and you are being sexual with him, you're living with him, you're giving him basically everything that he would get if he was married.
Sex too, ain't she getting sex?
If he was married.
She getting treated from head to toe with the sex too.
Well, one of the things you want to be in touch with.
I agree with you because I hate when they make that's the prize.
That's the prize. I mean,
one of the things
I'm giving you gifts too.
I'm giving you stuff.
Let's hear it. Let Art get it out.
One of the things that you want to be in touch with is that for women, sex represents a bit more than just intercourse. It represents somewhat more than an orgasm. For females, typically, the sexual act is tied more to emotionality, intimacy, commitment, love, trust,
emotional blackmail. That's what
security,
I call it, man. It's emotional
a sense
blackmail.
of security. And for black men, oftentimes what have happened to us, specifically through slavery days, because remember, for black Africa, tradition. It was something that we did that took us into adulthood.
We had 13 wives too. We had 15 wives. We just didn't have one woman.
Our family, the tribe, everybody supported. that. But when we were to this country and our families were broken apart through slavery, and the black male represented only what his proudness could do, how much sex he could have, and his strength. So the black male were rendered down to just those two elements. He had no more importance. He had to represent.
He done been through so many women. You see how smooth he is? He had to go study sex because he got that slow pimp thing. Now look here,
the way
what
that
we
you let
need to do is take off your clothes.
I think you need to put his ring on your finger.
I just think